In 1976, a daring gang stormed a bank in France, vanishing with $10 million. In 2003, masked men looted Antwerp's diamond district, escaping with $100 million in gems. From the Great Train robbery of 1963 to the Banco Central burglary in 2005, history is filled with criminals who outsmarted the system. But how did they plan such bold moves? And what happened after? Join us as we uncover the most shocking heists ever. 1976, the Great French Bank Heist. In July 1976, the quiet city of Nice, France, became the scene of one of history's boldest heists. A group of criminals, led by Albert Spaghieri, set their eyes on the Societe Generale Bank. Their plan? To rob the bank's underground vault without triggering any alarms. For months, Spaghieri and his team worked in secret. They rented a nearby shop and started digging a 25-foot tunnel leading straight to the bank's vault. The heist took place on July 16, 1976, a Friday night, when the bank was closed for the weekend. The gang entered the vault, avoiding security cameras and alarms. They spent 2 days inside, breaking open 400 safe deposit boxes. The thieves didn't just take cash. They stole gold bars, jewelry, and bonds worth an estimated $10 million. Before leaving, they left a message on the vault wall: without weapons, without violence, without hate. By Monday morning, when bank employees arrived, they found the vault in complete chaos. Police launched a massive investigation, but Spaghieri and his men had already vanished. However, a year later, a tip led to Spaghieri's arrest in 1977. During a court hearing, he jumped out of a window, landed on a car, and escaped. He was never caught again. Spaghieri lived in hiding until his death in 1989. To this day, much of the stolen wealth was never recovered, making the 1976 Nice bank heist one of the most legendary robberies in history. 2003, Antwerp Diamond District Heist. The perfect crime. In February 2003, a group of master thieves pulled off one of the biggest diamond heists in history. The target? The Antwerp Diamond Center in Belgium, home to billions worth of precious gems. The mastermind behind the heist was Leonardo Notarbartolo, an Italian criminal with years of experience in jewelry theft. His gang, known as the School of Turin, planned the operation for over 2 years, making sure no detail was overlooked. The Diamond Center was one of the most secure vaults in the world, protected by 10 layers of security, including infrared sensors, magnetic fields, a seismic alarm, and a lock with 100 million possible combinations. Yet on the night of February 15, 2003, Notarbartolo and his men bypassed everything. They entered the vault, broke into 123 safety deposit boxes, and stole diamonds, gold, and cash worth more than $100 million. The gang used fake identities to rent an office inside the Diamond Center months before the robbery. They studied the security system, tested different ways to disable alarms, and even had an inside man who provided crucial information. On the night of the heist, they used a simple hairspray to cover the heat sensors, tricking the system. They also jammed security cameras and picked the vault lock like true professionals. By morning, the thieves were gone, leaving behind an empty vault and a confused police force. But their luck didn't last long. A few days later, authorities found a bag of evidence near a farm outside Brussels. It contained receipts, surveillance footage, and DNA traces, all leading back to Notarbartolo. In 2005, he was arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Though the stolen diamonds were never recovered, some believe the heist was an inside job, while others think the diamonds are still hidden somewhere in Europe. Even today, the Antwerp diamond heist remains one of the most legendary robberies ever, proving that sometimes reality is more thrilling than fiction. The Great Train robbery of 1963. A perfect crime? On the night of August 8, 1963, a group of 15 men, led by Bruce Reynolds, carried out one of the most daring train heists in history. Their target? A Royal Mail train traveling from Glasgow to London. The criminals had spent months planning, ensuring that every detail was covered. But how did they pull off such a bold robbery? And what happened after? The gang had inside information from an anonymous railway worker who told them about a special carriage carrying cash. Every night, trains transported large amounts of money from Scottish banks to London, and on this particular night, the train was carrying £2.6 million, equal to £50 million today. The robbers chose a secluded spot near Bridego Bridge, Buckinghamshire, where they could stop the train without attracting attention. They tampered with the railway signals, turning the green light to red. At 3:15 a.m., the train's driver, Jack Mills, saw the red signal and stopped. Little did he know he was walking into a trap. As soon as the train stopped, the robbers rushed in. Jack Mills tried to fight back, but he was knocked unconscious. The gang quickly detached the carriage carrying the money and forced another railway worker to drive it half a mile away, where their trucks were waiting. In just 30 minutes, they loaded 120 mail bags filled with cash into their vehicles. Without firing a single bullet, they made their escape. It was a robbery unlike any other, silent, fast, and shockingly successful. The gang fled to Leather Slave Farm, a safe house they had prepared in advance. They planned to lay low for weeks before disappearing forever. But their perfect plan had one flaw: carelessness. They had left fingerprints on Monopoly game pieces they played while waiting. When the police found the farm, they collected evidence and soon started arresting the gang members. Within months, most of the gang was arrested. Bruce Reynolds managed to escape and live as a fugitive for 5 years before being caught in 1968. The mastermind, Ronnie Biggs, famously escaped from prison in 1965 and fled to Brazil, where he lived for over 30 years before returning to the UK in 2001. The Great Train Robbery remains one of history's most famous heists. It showed the power of planning, but also the consequences of small mistakes. While the robbers thought they had pulled off the perfect crime, fate had other plans. 2005, Banco Central burglary, the greatest heist in Brazil's history. In August 2005, the world witnessed one of the most daring heists ever, the Banco Central burglary in Fortaleza, Brazil. It wasn't just an ordinary bank robbery. The criminals didn't storm the bank with guns blazing. Instead, they used patience, intelligence, and an underground tunnel to pull off a theft worth $70 million. Months before the heist, a group of robbers rented a small house 200 meters away from the Banco Central building. They pretended to be a gardening business, even hiring workers to make their cover look real. While the outside world saw a normal business, beneath the surface, something extraordinary was happening. The gang spent 3 months digging a tunnel 78 meters, 256 feet long, stretching from their rented house directly into the bank's vault. The tunnel was no ordinary passage. It was reinforced with wood and plastic, had electric lights, and even an air conditioning system to keep it cool. Between August 5 and August 7, 2005, the robbers made their final move. They broke through the vault's 1.1 meter thick steel-reinforced concrete floor, gaining access to the bank's storage. Unlike most heists that target cash registers, this gang aimed for something even better: the bank's reserves. They stole $70 million, 160 million Brazilian reais, in used, unmarked bills, making it impossible to trace the money. Shockingly, the bank's security system failed to detect the break-in, and no alarms went off. By the time authorities discovered the robbery on August 8, 2005, the criminals had already vanished. The Brazilian police launched a massive investigation involving 400 officers. Slowly, they uncovered key figures behind the heist. One of the masterminds, Antonio Josevinalves, known as the Doctor, was later arrested in 2016. However, even after more than a decade, a large portion of the stolen money remains missing. This heist is remembered as one of the most intelligent and well-planned robberies in history. It showed how criminals, with patience and planning, could bypass high-security systems without even using a single bullet.